Hello and welcome to the Daily Draft, where we take Magic one draft at a time. My name is Morgan, and I'm a little late with this video, but it was okay because it was the holidays. We're in a holiday cube draft, aka vintage cube? I don't even know. It's been the holiday cube for the last 2 years, so we're just gonna call it that from now on. Anyway, vintage cube, so power and craziness, hopefully. We'll see. Waiting for a couple more people to join the queue, and I'll see you then. That did not take long. Didn't even get to watch that much of the Great British Baking Show. I'm getting so sick of not opening power. I mean, I'm just whiny, but it is a little sad. So, couple of options here. First of all, Wasteland, always quality. There are a lot of non-basic lands in this cube, and Wasteland gets rid of all of them. Deceiver Exarch is an interesting first pick. It is speculative. There are a lot of combo pieces for Splinter Twin, and sometimes you get free wins, but sometimes your opponent just has so much disruption that you can't do that. Time Spiral, for those of you who are not aware, Time Spiral is 6 mana. Each player shuffles his or her graveyard and hand into his or her library and then draws 7 cards. You can untap up to 6 lands, so it's a free Time Twister, but it costs 6 initially, which is pretty good with High Tide, pretty good in Storm. It's also Arid Mesa. I'm going to take Exarch. Exarch is basically a win condition. I also like playing blue quite a bit in this format, so yeah. Gonna go ahead and take it. So I think Dig Through Time's just the pick here. Chandra is very good. Wooded Foothills is fine. Reclamation Sage is a card. Natural Order is a good win condition, but Dig Through Time, I think, is just a good way to get the party going here. Interesting. So Tinker is another combo card, basically. You sacrifice an artifact and then search your library for an artifact card and put that onto the battlefield. Pretty sweet. Ancient Tomb is nice because it produces 2 mana for free. An extra mana for free, rather. Strip Mine's also very good. Normally I'd take Snapcaster Mage, but I think I take Strip Mine here. It keeps me a little bit open, and I mean, I've taken Dig Through Time. I could always just take red cards, but I don't think that I want to right now. I'd rather take something like a Ponder or an Is It Charm or even a Bitter Blossom. Shadow Mage Infiltrator is fine too. I think I just want Ponder though. Ponder is pretty good for a deck like this because 1, it is mana neutral with Dig Through Time, and 2, it is good for helping me dig for any potential combo that I have with Deceiver Exarch. Some more nice ones here for the blue deck. Click is a sweet card. It breaks up combos. It attacks for 3 in the air, which is pretty good. Frantic Search is good in the Storm deck. Selesnya Signet's fine. It's a piece of artifact ramp, which is always good, but I think I'm just going to go with Vendilion Click. Riftwind Cloudskate is also pretty sweet. It comes down on turn 4, which is nice. Or turn 5 with haste, I guess. And it's good, but I think Click is just better. Here, there's a Treasure Cruise, which is good, except for we already have a Dig Through Time. Overgrown Tomb and Hinterland Harbor for mana fixing. Go for the Throat for removal. Birthing Pod is just a sweet card. Isochron Scepter would be nice if we had more instants, but I think I just take the Sword of Feast and Famine. Sword of Feast and Famine, even if it isn't a great card on its own, it's very fair. It is really good against the green decks, which tend to be more fair anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and take Incinerate. If we're playing Deceiver Exarch, we want to be playing red anyway, and Incinerate is just fine. Well, let's see here. So Stomping Ground is a fine piece of mana fixing. Avalanche Riders is interesting in that it is, you know, land destruction. Mind's Desire is another Storm card. It has Storm. Shuffle your library, then exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card without paying its mana cost. I think I'm actually going to take the Mind's Desire. Storm might be open, and this might be our shot, you guys. No, because this was our opening pack, and it does not have the... Well, maybe. We're going to take Anticipate, though, over Parallax Wave, Lightbane Zombie, stuff like that. Chandra Wield, but Time Spiral did not, so that's... that happens. But I like taking Chandra here. Chandra is a fairly decent red card. Okie dokie. We wield the Snapcaster Mage after picking the Strip Mine over it in the first go around. And I think that's worth taking here. We can flashback, Incinerate, Anticipate, Ponder, and heaven forbid, Dig Through Time. I think it's worth taking over the Breeding Pool and the Electrolyze here. Just the ability to rebuy my best spell is pretty strong. And we wield Eidolon, Moloku, Shadow Mage Infiltrator. I guess I take Moloku here. Moloku's a pretty good win condition in like a control-y deck. We're looking for something busted to do though. We want basically fast mana, but if that doesn't happen, I guess we'll be just a little sad. Ooh, Isochron Scepter. There we go. Now we're talking. And we wield the Spear of Heliod. Sweet. Goes well with Moloku, but I'd rather play red right now with Incinerate and Anticipate. Snapcaster is fairly good with things like Gifts Ungiven. Gifts Ungiven for Snapcaster plus like Eternal Witness plus 2 spells is pretty good. So here we have the option of taking like Flooded Strand. Glenalendra and Cryptic Command are both very good. Sulphur Falls is mana fixing. I think we just want Flooded Strand. Flooded Strand has a way of winning games that we wouldn't normally win, so I think that's worth taking here. Some good cards in this pack. One of my favorite cards in Cube is Upheaval, but I'm not sure if we have enough artifact mana to make it worthwhile. Ancestral Vision, however, is a fairly good card. You suspend it on turn 1, and then 4 turns later you get to draw 3 cards, which is pretty great. Hate passing Upheaval, but yeah, I don't know if we have the permanent density to take advantage of it. Excuse me, I could speculate on it. We could still get something like a Thran Dynamo or a Coalition Relic, and that would be good. Yeah, I think I need to take it because right now I don't really have a great win condition. I haven't seen any of the other twin pieces, so I'd like to take Upheaval as a way to win the game potentially. Here, pretty easily taking Consecrated Sphinx. Consecrated Sphinx is one of the best blue creatures in the cube, although there are a lot of good blue creatures. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. It's 4/6 flying for 6. So, fairly decent, I'd say. Wow. So, a couple of options here. There's a Chain Lightning, a Path to Exile, a Venser Shaper Savant, and a Channel. Channel's pretty sweet. We don't really have anything to go with it, but the art is beautiful. Just like that, noted for the record. I think I just take the Venser though. Venser, when it enters the battlefield, return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. Fairly useful, fairly flexible too, which is a good thing in a card and cube. It also wears a Sword of Feast and Famine, which is kind of important. Alright, so still no artifact mana, but we did get a Frost Titan, which I think we want over like Oblivion Ring. And Supreme Verdict. Yeah, I like a Frost Titan here. If we do pick up some mana in pack 3, because I don't think we're going to pick it up this pack, being able to ramp out Frost Titan is pretty strong. Alright, interesting bit of options here. We have Brainstorm, which isn't actually very good in our 0 fetch land deck. Ralzeric, which is a sweet, like, it's nice to have 4 mana Planeswalkers, because usually you can get them out at least eternally early words. Brago is pretty interesting with things like Venser, Click, Snapcaster Mage, even Deceiver Exarch, and Frost Titan. Because bouncing any of those cards is a lot of value. I kind of like taking Remand here, especially since there's no Time Vault to combo with Ralzeric, because Remand goes under an Isochron Scepter. So we have Time Twister, which doesn't do a lot for our deck, I think. Bonfire of the Damned is pretty fun. Dak Faden is probably the pick here, just because it is a Planeswalker, and it does allow us to go through our deck rather quickly. Yeah, we'll take Dak. That's a late Goblin Guide. Mizium Mortars, I think, is the pick here, though, just because it is removal. Not really into taking Nev's Disc here. Alright, cross your fingers that we wield that Sulfur Falls. Wield Sulfur Falls and Flooded Strand. Sulfur Falls is guaranteed red fixing, but Flooded Strand is a fetch land, which I think has a little bit more value in the long run, especially since it would let us splash another thing if we wanted. I'm gonna go ahead and take Clifftop Retreat here, just because having mana fixing does give us options again, which is pretty important. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Flame Tongue Kavu. Turnabout Wheel. Turnabout, because it untaps lands, adds to your storm count, in that it's essentially a free card. So that's worth noting. For those of you who are interested in playing Storm, Turnabout is a card that might go late. The thing about Storm in this cube is that there's a good chance that A, somebody is forcing it, and B, somebody is hate drafting the cards for it. Grim Lavamancer is actually a pretty good pickup here if we go deeper into red, especially because having a repeatable source of 2 damage is really nice. I'll put that in the sideboard. What? We wield Ralzeric? Now I'm excited. We're definitely taking him over Quicken. Man, look at how dashing he is. I love it when anybody cosplays as Ralzeric. Anyway, there's a good chance that somebody is hate drafting Storm cards, and there's a good chance that somebody is forcing Storm. So, in either case, there's a good chance that you are never going to see all of the cards that you want. No power, but there's an Inferno Titan, so we're going to take it. Inferno Titan, this deck is so fair. It's so unfortunate. Okay, cool. We got a Kiki Jiki. Combo. There's a Bribery in this pack. Bribery is fairly good in Cube, just because people are playing things like Griselbrand and Progenitus. Temple of Epiphany is decent mana fixing, but we kind of have to... We're kind of priced into taking Kiki Jiki, Mr. First Pick, Deceiver Exarch. We'll see how it goes, though. We are really not getting a lot in the way of unfair things to do, but I'll take this counterspell pretty happily. Not sure if I'm playing this Isochron Scepter. It might be worth it. Let's see if we got counterspell, remand, anticipate, incinerate. I think I'd want one more thing to do with it before I did that. I was like, oh man, Hallowed Fountain, that's great, but then I realized that I'm not actually playing any white right now, I think I want either like a Jit or a Gush or something. Haven't gotten any artifact mana for this Upheaval too. So like Upheaval and Isochron Scepter are just on the brink of playability here. I could also take Daze, which would be pretty funny, but I think Jit is just powerful enough that I want it. I don't know. I could take Brain Freeze. That's a win condition that we can't beat. Could take Rift Bolt, I guess. Yeah, we're hate drafting the Brain Freeze. Ooh, okay, cool. We got another Planeswalker. I like Planeswalkers quite a bit. Taking Tamio over Sarkin because Tamio tends to be able to take control of the game a little bit more, a little bit better. More effectively. I'm not sure if I'm main decking this Jit. Man, this Kiki Jiki is so sketchy. Alright, I'm going to take this Pentad Prism because it's the only piece of artifact mana that we've seen so far. Except for that Selesnya Signet way long ago. It's good mana fixing for Kiki Jiki though. Not a lot going on here. I'm going to take the Lotus Bloom. Lotus Bloom could be busted, I think. If you suspend it on turn 1, you play it on turn 4, you play out like an Infernal Titan or something. Maybe I'm just... They say I'm a dreamer. Gonna go ahead and take a Temple here. I think that in this particular deck, the Scry might be worth playing, regardless of, whether or not that I need the mana fixing. Maybe Grim Lavamancer is out. Just because, I do have a lot of stuff going in the graveyard, but I'm not quite sure how easily I'll have red mana on turn 1 or whenever I get the opportunity to play this gentleman. Oh hey, Temple of Epiphany. Taking that over Impulse. Resto combos with Kiki Jiki. I think I actually have to take this card. It's so weird. But I think I'm gonna do it, yeah. Take the Lightning Strike for aggro decks, which I'm sure there's not many, but we didn't wield the Hallowed Fountain. Taking Char though. We could be a burn deck. Look at this. We got Grim Lavamancer, we've got Lightning Strike, Isochron Scepter. We could just burn people out. Kind of like Frost Titan. Excuse me, goodness. It's probably the best card in the pack. That's probably not smart though. Heartbeat of Spring is also really good with untap effects as a way to build Storm. Would I rather have Frost Titan or Inferno Titan? Probably just Inferno or Frost Titan rather. Maybe cut my Loku. Alright, cool. We're doing it. We got Pentad Prism to fix for Resto. Plus, we're gonna play a basic Plains and be happy about it. And play triple red. This'll work out fine. Trust me, guys. And we'll submit. Is it worth playing Strip Mine? I don't know. I'll see you in round 1, though.